boy.
To clinch her second title of the season. Indeed. Brandon. There it is. Nice. Bang.
Winning shot. Simo.
All right, folks, here we go. It is time for the U.S. Amateur Stepladder Finals. Emil Williams Jr. with Brian Mano here to bring you the women's final. First, of course, an official semifinal and a final match. The men's U.S. Amateur is going on Channel 2. It's on 53 and 54. Julian Salinas down there trying to become a back-to-back U.S. Amateur champion. We will have a new U.S. Amateur champion because the previous one from last year is now a professional, but don't worry, she just went ahead and won Team USA trials.
Yes, she did.
And that was Crystal Elliott. But in our opening match, it will feature Caitlin Abagania, the number 3 seed. She will take on the number 2 seed, Gianna Brandolino. The number 1 seed is the 2022 U.S. Amateur champion in the women's division, Chloe Lemke. But first and foremost is just 5 minutes of practice, so about 2.5 minutes left. Brian, of course, the caveat for these matches is the higher seed in each match gets a chance to choose the pattern. That meant Gianna Brandolino chose the pattern. She chose pattern number 3.
She did. I know this morning when we were discussing, once it was official that Gianna would be the 2 seed, we were discussing what pattern we thought she might choose, and I think the consensus was we thought she might choose either day 1 or day 2, and we were kind of leaning toward day 2 because Caitlin bowled so well on day 1. However, I just spoke with G before we started practice here, and I said, hey, you know, why pattern 3? And she goes, quite honestly, Caitlin didn't bowl that well on it. And that was the explanation. So G kind of playing a little bit of what I call offense-defense. G obviously bowled well all week, as did Caitlin. But from the patterns that were chosen, from the patterns that were bowled on, it seems like Gianna thinks she can best Caitlin on this particular pattern.
So some slight defense, perhaps.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, most offense, but a little defense thrown in there.
Few seconds remain here in practice. Again, Brandolino from Channahon, Illinois. Committed to Jacksonville State, just a banner 2024 year. The PBA LBC class champion. Took home the U18 Girls Junior Gold Championship in 2023. Part of the USA Bowling National Championship in 2022.
No shortage of accomplishments for these ladies on the amateur show this year. Practice just about winding down here for the ladies. It'll be their last shots here as both of them shoot 10 pins for their last shot. Higher seed will get choice of start. And we will be underway here very shortly with our first match. It'll be number 2 seed Gianna Brandolino against number 3 seed Caitlin Abagania on pattern 3. I'm excited this year, Emil. I've called the finals every year for the past 6 or so years. This is my first time calling the female women's finals. I've normally called the men's finals every year, but this is my first time calling the women, and I'm super excited to be here with you on our very last day, evening of this wonderful week that we've had here in Reno, Nevada at the National Bowling Stadium.
I am excited too, and at the moment, I am going to briefly take a quick jog down to our boys area and see if we can get them started. So I need you, if you don't mind, obviously, to get our match going, and I'll be right back.
Looks like Caitlin Abagania will start the match on lane 57. Oh, take that back. Maybe Gianna Brandolino here. Nope. Let's see what's going on here. I think Gianna's decided. We're gonna waiting until the men are ready, and then we will get this match underway. Once again, this is pattern 3, and this was chosen by Gianna Brandolino. She is the 2 seed, so she had her choice of pattern. Just like the 1 seed, Chloe Lemke will have her choice of pattern, and she has chosen pattern 1. So the winner of this match will move to the next pair over, and they will bowl on a completely different pattern, and they will also get 5 minutes of practice, just like they got before this pattern and this first match. Couple of fun facts about the ladies while we wait. Caitlin Abagania's favorite pro bowlers, Missy Parkin and Darren Tang. Darren Tang was in the field this week and bowled very well. Gianna Brandolino's favorite pro bowler, Cameron Crowe, and he was also in the field this year and bowled super well. So just some fun facts about these two ladies in our first match. Caitlin's first run here, competition at team trials, was in 2020 when she was 13 years old. That was just before they changed the age requirement here to compete at Team USA trials. So in 2020, Caitlin competed as a 13-year-old, finished 31st as an amateur and 48th overall. She then came back in 2023 and finished 3rd in the U.S. Amateur and 7th overall, and then last year 8th in the U.S. Amateur and 16th overall. So Caitlin, even at the ripe young age of 18, is a veteran of this tournament.
Yeah, are you guys ready? No.
Wait for Gary's signal.
He just told me to get 2 more minutes of practice.
Yes.
No?
Thank you.
Just ran by some fun facts for both Gianna and Caitlin. Just letting the viewers know that Caitlin's first appearance in this tournament was in 2020 as a 13-year-old, just before they changed the age requirement to compete in this tournament.
We're ready to begin. For the men, Connor will start the match. For the women, Caitlin will begin the match. Let's give these bowlers a round of applause. They begin their semifinal match.
As you guys heard Zach Singer, Caitlin will start the match here on lane 57, and away we go.
All right, folks, here it is. We will have lane talk for you. Just allow the frames to populate. And the first one, a good one for Caitlin Abagania. Again, the number 3 seed did not get a chance to choose the pattern. That belonged to Gianna Brandolino.
And as we mentioned, Gianna choosing pattern 3. You will notice Gianna will be quite a bit further left than Caitlin, both at the arrows. But down lane, they should be in a very, just a paralyzing 5-pin there.
Well, that's a good way to start.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. I mean, that was a really good shot. If you've watched Caitlin's shot, it went right over the tracer down lane, but it was more direct. Gianna, a good zone left of her, at the arrows, but right on the tracer down lane. So both of the ladies utilizing the same break point on this 45-foot pattern that we saw earlier in the week.
So G will wait. So there will be a the break or the brief respect, of course, for matches, because the men's match is going one pair to their left.
Actually, two. I think there's a pair in between them.
Correct.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Again, number 1 seed Chloe Lemke waiting in the wings.
No problem there on that 5-pin. A little bit of a bad break. Obviously, she threw a great shot. I think she threw it exactly where she wanted. Just a little bit of a bad break on that first ball.
It's a good way to start on the, of course, all tongue-in-cheek, of course, but here's a look at the 5-pin. She just staring that thing down, and it ain't going.
No, it wiggled on her, but just didn't fall. Another really good shot there. Yeah, that was one of those, we call it no doubter, folks. And that looked like a ball change, quite frankly, right away. So 1-game match, you don't really have too much time to feel things out. And G obviously didn't like the reaction of that first shot, or didn't like the way the ball went through the pins. Immediately changed balls, just read a little bit harder off of the tracer, off that break point, and she slapped the 10 out on that shot.
All right, here's Abaganya. Going to be the first to double here. Went down and asked her about equipment choices, and Rob Kochel said, I'll let you know once they start. They had a few options and weren't really sure what they were going to go with at the time, as she leaves a 2-4-5.
And quite frankly, that did not look like a bad shot. It looked like it was right on the tracer again. Maybe a little quick with the speed. It certainly didn't read the end of the pattern like lane 57. That could be one of two things, right? 58 could be a pinch tighter, or she could have amped up the speed just a little bit. I'm going to go with 58 being a pinch tighter only because Gianna's ball didn't quite read the end of the pattern either. So my guess here, especially up at this end of the house, is that 58 might have just been a pinch tighter. But a good cover there on the 2-4-5 by Caitlin.
Connor Fleming taking on Julian Salinas, by the way. So if you were watching the women's match and you said, maybe I want to peek in on the men's match, that's what's happening at the moment. Of course, on the line here is a spot technically on Team USA. But there's an interesting caveat to that, and we'll talk about it here in a moment. Third frame, Abaganya.
That was in. That was definitely a couple of boards left of the tracer down lane, and the ball read on her there.
You know, this is a 1-game match, Brian. And so how long before, and it may not have to happen if both players kind of continue maybe to trade strikes and spares, and so it never gets more than a 9, 10 pin, maybe 11 pin match, right? You don't make risk or take risk in those situations.
Right.
How long do you think they have to go before they figure that out? Like, okay, maybe I just need to keep going and do what I'm doing because my opponent is keeping it close.
I think right now, quite frankly, Gianna changed balls in the second frame, and I don't know if she's using 2 different balls on 2 different lanes. I'm trying to see what ball she's picking up. And quite frankly, I think she is. I think she's going with 2 different balls on each lane. So if Gianna strikes here and then gets up and strikes again on 57, I think Caitlin needs to make a change immediately. I think that turkey without a double for Caitlin puts her behind the 8 ball instantaneously.
Now Brandolino, the first to strike, or excuse me, looking for the first double,
Yeah, that was right at target.
and 2-7.
And I maintain that lane might be just a pinch tighter, but that was certainly right of the tracer down lane. So now in this scenario, let's give Gianna the spare for discussion purposes. Gianna's got a 1-pin lead. I don't think Caitlin makes any drastic moves here, especially since she didn't throw an awful shot on 58. I think she just makes a small move there, and then just tries to get to the pocket a little bit better.
Last year, G finished 21st. Overall, this year, third, already has a spot as an automatic qualifier onto Team USA. Now looking for the U.S. Amateur title, but she's got to get past Abagani to have a shot at it.
It's got a hook.
Nicely
very
done.
Nice. Now, you mentioned there was a very unique situation here with the females, and we had discussed it during the final round of the women earlier, but I'll let you bring it back in here to remind the viewers just exactly what's going on and why it's so unique.
Yes, give me, well, first, let's watch a replay of this wonderful 2-7, which was slightly off spot, too.
It was. It was very wide, but very well covered here by Gianna. And
Right.
she's getting up on what is her good lane. I mean, obviously we're only in the 4th frame, but she did throw a great shot here in frame 2.
Brandolino, bang.
Yeah. I mean, both shots on that lane, stellar. I wonder if she doesn't make a ball change now on the right lane, given that she's gone light with a different ball. So I wonder if she doesn't make a ball change. I wonder if she doesn't talk to her boyfriend or one of her reps back here, her coach, Mr. Landon. I'm sorry, Mr. Excuse me, I'm about to... Sorry, folks. Been coughing all week. Mr. Jordan, Landon Jordan's dad is her coach. So we'll see if she speaks with him or some of her support staff back here to see if maybe there's a ball change she needs to make on 58.
4th frame, Abagania trailing by 1, and she's on the board here in the 4th.
Yeah, that was a great shot. Absolute great shot.
All right, so the situation here for Caitlin specifically. All right, Gianna finished 3rd in the overall ranking points after 30 games, 5 days, different pattern each day. She gained an automatic spot. Chloe Lemke finished 2nd. She too gained an automatic spot. There were 4 available. Miranda Pattison finished 4th to gain the 4th automatic, and of course Crystal Elliott, the champion of Team USA Trials, gained the 1st spot. Caitlin Abagania finished 5th, 6 points behind Miranda Pattison. Well, there was a spot available, of course, here, the U.S. Amateur Champion for the winner. Chloe already has a spot. Gianna already has a spot. Abagania, no double, 7-pin.
Really good shot, though.
To finish that up, so if Caitlin were to lose this match and either Gianna or Chloe win,
And one of them will.
one of them will in that situation, of course. The spot, because they each have an automatic already, the spot would go back to the next highest finisher in the ranking points, which would be Caitlin Abagania in this situation. So whether Caitlin wins the USAM, which she'd love to do, but if she does not, she is going to be on the squad by virtue of the way things shook out.
Yeah, so Caitlin basically has an automatic spot, is what we're saying. Whether she wins or does not win. Of course, she wants the prestige of winning the amateur title and having that title as amateur champion. But the way that the points and the rankings have shaped out is that she will get a spot on the team regardless of whether she wins.
All right, Brandolino looking to step up here. Neither player has double, but still clean both players as well. And the same thing in the men's match, by the way. Some good bowling for both.
And I do see a ball change, by the way, for Brandolino here. It is the same ball she's using on the left lane.
Wiggle on the 10.
Yeah, but a better shot. It got to the pocket a little bit better than the other ball she was using on that lane.
Talked about some of the accolades, of course, for Gianna, also known as G. A ton of Elite Youth Tour titles. Storm Youth Championship titles. Of course, the big LBC, PBA LBC Clash, Queen of the Clash. And that's just only a handful of the items that took place in 2024. She'll take care of that 10-pin. She had a chance to travel with Junior Team USA to both Peru and South Korea in 2024. 13-time titleist. Actually, she holds the current record for most titles in the Storm Youth Championships. I forgot her number of EYT titles, and I'm going to have to ask a member of our staff on that respective tournament circuit to remind me of what that number is.
It's impressive. 13 SYC titles is very impressive. By the way, for anybody watching the men's match, Julian Salinas is actually throwing a hot cell. He is not throwing an IQ 78. I asked him earlier, and I was kind of marveled by that because you don't see many of those going down the lane anymore. And that was left.
That looked like a move, too.
I think that was a miss left. And that's kind of the first little misstep there. 7 on that spare. It turns the match slightly into Caitlin's favor. And not an easy spare under pressure, the 3-6-10.
There's another look.
Yeah, it just looked left down lane. Couldn't really miss left on this pattern. A little bit more miss room right if you're floating the ball, but missing left, not the best on this 45-foot pattern. Easy conversion, though.
And easy indeed, and not a lot of people enjoy the old 3-6-10, but G handled that perfectly.
Last time up on this lane, Caitlin found the pocket, found a way to knock 10 down. A strike here would give her a 2-pin lead. So it was a 1-pin lead before last frame for Gianna. Strike here gives Caitlin actually gives Caitlin a 12-pin lead.
This one's got coming down to the 10th frame written all over it.
Indeed it does. No doubles yet in this match. That looked really good. Yeah, that looked really good. Looks like she put a little bit of oomph on that one. But again, I think 58's just a pinch tighter. But that one got to the pocket, half pocket, got the pins down, and now she steps up here in the 7th, and she can be the first one to double in this match. And I feel like the first one to double in this match might just take it home.
Wagania from San Diego, California. 18 years of age. Both she and Gianna, 18. G just turned 18 just a few weeks ago. Recently committed to Vanderbilt, did Caitlin.
Caitlin's first appearance in this tournament was in 2020. She was 13 years old.
Impressive.
Amazing.
Bang. First to double indeed is Abagania.
With some authority, too. That was high flush. 10 back.
Abagania was in this very match 2 years ago. Finished 3rd in 2023 in the U.S. Amateur. She lost the opening match at that point to Mary Orff. Jillian Martin went on to defeat Mary in the finals to take home the U.S. Amateur.
I hate to say this is a must strike, but I think it is for G here. And it looks like she went back to the other ball and tried to straighten up a little bit and not kind of close down her angle and not open up her angle so much. I don't necessarily agree with the move, not because she left a 2-4-10, but she was in the pocket, and I would hesitate to give away the pocket even when you need to strike, and she was kind of in that need to strike situation. But I would hesitate to make a move and give away the pocket there. Just my personal opinion. But this is, again, it's almost a must make for her, and not the simplest of spares.
2-4-10. Her first split conversion was back in the 3rd. It was a 2-7.
She's going to go a little straighter at this one.
Now got to be a shooter.
That's got a chance. Just backed up on her a little bit. She's in a hold now. Her max score here is 213, and I feel like she's going to need all of them to get there and force Caitlin, at least this one, to force Caitlin to stay honest.
From Shanahan, Illinois.
I'm glad you knew how to say that. I know she wrote it out for us, but I'm glad you knew how to say that.
Well, I mean, to be fair, I mean, first of all, I appreciate athletes who write the pronunciations that they know are difficult. It makes our job a lot easier, of course. A-frame. All right.
Yeah. Again, that's her good lane. She's got the right ball in her hand on that lane. It's going through the pins the proper way. I just not a fan of the move she made on 58. I understand why she tried. And, you know, Emil, you and I were talking about at what point do you make that press? And I get why she pressed, especially with Caitlin's double there, especially Caitlin being the first one to double in this match and put a little pressure on Gianna. So I get it. I don't know if I would have given away the pocket personally. I would have maybe tried to make a little tweak to get the ball to go through a slightly different way.
Can Abaganya turn 2 into 3?
That's a labeled shot right there.
Bang.
Yeah, you could tell right away, folks. I mean, Caitlin's game's super simple. She's playing pretty much 12 to 10, 11 to 10. And you could see it lay down and see it get toward that tracer. You just know it's gonna jump up and slam the pocket.
Physics Blackout is the ball of choice for Caitlin Abaganya.
A little bit of surface on that Physics Blackout. Looks like it started maybe at 1,500 or 1,000. I mean, this could all but put the match away here with a strike here in the 9th. That looked right. Ooh.
Well, she's got good carry as well.
Yes,
and,
she does. Well, listen, it's simple. G needs them all, and then Caitlin needs a mark. And that's how simple it is, folks. But G needs them all. She doesn't get them all, Caitlin's going to win this match regardless of what she does in that 10th frame.
Let's quick look at day 3's pattern again. 45 feet, 2.09 to 1. This is what Gianna chose and said that, of course, Caitlin didn't perform that well on it overall. Best shot of the match there for Brandolina.
Yeah, and that's what I think she should have done in the 7th frame. Again, I wasn't a huge fan of her going back to that other ball, which had already labored a couple of times off the back end of that pattern. It looks like she made a move right to close her angle down and try to get the ball to read. It just didn't. But that was certainly the right move here in the 9th. And if she does step up in the 10th and throw 3, she will force Caitlin to make a shot in the 10th and mark. And it looks like Julian might take that first match there over for the men. If you guys are split screening or not split screening and you wanted a little update, Julian can strike out in the 10th for 257.
Needs them all to have a chance. And the week 10.
Yeah, it wasn't a bad shot by any means. But that's going to do it for Gianna. Caitlin will win match 1 and then go on to face Chloe Lemke on the day 1 pattern, which was Caitlin's best pattern.
For fun, there's a question on Gianna's bio that Donovan Grubauer, communications expert this week, gave out. If you could be any animal, which one would you be and why? And Gianna said goldfish hyphen Ted Lasso. So I haven't seen Ted Lasso, but now I got to watch it because clearly there's a goldfish, something that I miss. Headed to Jacksonville State this fall. She graduated early.
She did.
In high school.
Yeah, that's impressive.
People graduate early in college. In high school.
That is impressive.
So she's going to get a few months off, you know, still work.
Yep.
and prepare herself for college in the fall.
And Shannon O'Keefe, our coach, our future coach at Jacksonville State, here watching. They are gaining probably one of the most talented ladies in all of bowling. And that team is already super talented. I mean, we've been talking about that all week as well.
These are two, as I like to say, 5-star prospects who have committed to their respective universities for the fall. Only one, of course, can win, and that is Caitlin Abaganya. Brandolino finishes with 191. Caitlin continues.
Yeah, what a very well bowled game by Caitlin. I mean, she made one errant shot in the second frame, and that was it. I mean, everything else has been right on target. And it helps when you carry the light hits, and certainly don't leave any pins when you're dead flush. One more here will put Caitlin in the 240s. And then we'll move pairs, and these guys will get a little bit of practice on pattern 1, and we'll do it all over again.
That is correct, folks. So, again, we will move pairs, which means I need to move a camera. So after the conclusion of this match, we'll take a small break.
Move the camera, change some graphics. You got to do a bunch of things here.
That's right. Thank you for that graphic.
Yeah, see, I told you I would remind
need it
you.
one more time. Chloe Lemke, the former Stephen F. Austin State standout, multi-time national champion in both team and individual, and an ISC title. Helped the squad to an ITC title and a runner-up finish in NCAA in 2022. And the 2022 was the year, speaking of, like we said, 2024 was the year of Gianna. The year of Chloe was 2022. She won just about everything you could win, including the U.S. Amateur Championship.
Now looking to do it for a second time.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, our semifinals are complete. Congratulations to Caitlin Abaganya and Julian Salinas, who will now move on to our championship final. How about a nice round of applause for Gianna Brandolino and Connor Fleming, who's great bowling this year.
All right, folks, hang tight. Camera moving time, and then we will be right back for you. The Women's U.S. Amateur Championship match, it is next, right here on Bowl TV. All right, folks, welcome back. Pardon me. You know, my microphone headset has been loose all week. And so when I get it perfect, I'm good for like 5 straight games. The moment I take it off,
You got to readjust.
I got to readjust it. So I apologize for that, folks. But here we are. It's the championship, the U.S. Amateur Finals here in the women's division. Top seed Chloe Lemke will face the number 3 seed Caitlin Abaganya. We are bowling on the pattern number 1, if you will. It's the first pattern of the week, the day 1 pattern. And here it is on your screen, and of course on your right as you see the players practicing. Real quickly, though, Brian, 45 feet, 2.091.
Yeah, relatively.
Actually, no, I'm sorry.
No, a little higher, right? Yeah.
that is not.
That was day 3, I think.
Didn't I tell you
You
this
did.
week?
You absolutely did.
Every time I've set this box up, it has failed me.
We're going to try that one more time.
It has failed me every single time this week. I've had to double back and put in the right graphic. It literally said day 1, and it reverted to day 3.
All right, take 2.
Take 2 indeed. Okay, here we go. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. There we go. 43. 43 feet, 2.2121.
Yeah, relatively flat, and certainly going to give the ability on this pattern for the ladies to play further right than you saw Caitlin and Gianna playing in round 1 on pattern 3. When I asked Chloe why she chose this pattern, she simply said this is the pattern she was most comfortable with, and she gets to throw her favorite bowling ball. And quite frankly, folks, sometimes having your favorite bowling ball in your hand gives you an extra couple of spares or strikes during that game, and I think that was Chloe's mindset. Even though this was Caitlin's best pattern during the entire week. So purely an offensive move by Chloe. No defense here at all with this choice.
Yeah, Abaganya won the first day on this pattern at plus 205, including a 278 in Game 6. Of course, that's not on the fresh. On the fresh, she opened with games of 194, 265, 235 for the first 3. Chloe shot 225, 266 in the first 2 games on this pattern, and ultimately finished 11th that day at plus 86.
Yeah, I think the key there is the 190, 220. During the competition, there were 3 to repair. They got 10 minutes of practice. Here, there are 2 to repair. They get 5 minutes of practice. So this is going to be purely a game 1 type situation and only a 1-game match. So in theory, you would think Chloe would have the advantage here as she shot 30 pins higher during game 1, during block 1, than Caitlin did. However, this is a pure match play situation for a title. So some of that does, in fact, go out the window.
Practice time has come to an end. Chloe Limke already on the squad for 2025. She finished 2nd after 30 games. Zach Singer asking Chloe who wants to start the match. Obviously, she has that control as the top seed.
And as we mentioned in the last match, regardless of who wins, Caitlin will earn an automatic spot here on Team USA, as Chloe already has her spot. And by virtue of where Caitlin finished in 5th, she will earn that automatic spot, as should Chloe win, that spot would go to the next highest point total earner, and that was Caitlin.
Has chosen to let Julian start the match. Let's give our competitors
All right, looks like Chloe is going to begin the match. And in the men's match, by the way, CJ Petrin will take on Julian Salinas. Petrin, the #1 seed there in the men's division. The Oklahoma Christian, Julian Salinas at SCAD Savannah. This is a past collegiate standout and a future collegiate standout here in our women's match with Chloe Limke, previously of Stephen F. Austin, and soon to be Caitlin Abaganya, who will begin her collegiate career this fall at Vanderbilt.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. So Chloe will await the start from Julian to her left. And folks, if you've ever seen Chloe bowl, she can bunch together strikes quickly.
Yeah. Not a flashy game by any means, but certainly gets through the ball super clean at the bottom. You're going to see her probably be right in that 8, 9, 10 area down lane, and just a phenomenal opening shot. You'll probably see Caitlin be a little bit further right than Chloe, with a little bit more surface and a little bit straighter up the lane. Chloe's going to probably be 10-ish at the arrows out to 7, 8. Caitlin's probably going to be a little further right. Look like maybe straight up 5-ish. And this pattern certainly lends that area of the lane, especially here at the NBS.
First shot, Abaganya. And a 2-8.
Yeah, it looked like it was a pinch right of 5. Looks like it was also going a pinch left to right. I don't think Caitlin can really do that on the fresh on this pattern. She has to be everything, directly in front of her. And the 2-8, not an easy spare to open up and shoot either. Going to wait here on a ball return for Caitlin, so she's going to have a couple extra seconds to think about exactly how to shoot this spare. While we wait for the ball return here for Caitlin, the men's match, CJ Petrin starting with a strike, Julian Salinas starting with 8 spare. Julian in the unique position to win this tournament back-to-back, as he was the amateur champion last year. So some little bit of history there for potentially for Julian.
Well, while we wait, Chloe, 24 years of age in Nacogdoches, Texas. Wants to bowl a little bit more competitively in 2025, and well, about as bad as you can start here in the new year.
Yeah, I'd say she's well on her way.
Of course, with that amateur championship in 2022, she did earn a spot on Team USA in that same season. Again, won the Intercollegiate Singles Championship in the women's division in 2022, helped SFA win the team title at the Intercollegiate Team Championships in 2022, and helped them to a runner-up finish at the NCAA Women's Bowling Championship.
That's got to hurry.
Oh,
wow.
You just got to knock them down.
Yeah, just got to touch it. And she did indeed touch both pins there. Yeah, we could have a little bit of unique situation here. Both Salinas and Chloe could be 2-time amateur champions if they both win their respective matches.
See just how close that was, folks. I mean, just grazed the 2-pin in front of the 8, of course. Magana again in this position a couple of years ago. I asked her what's the difference between being in it now versus being in it then, and she said then she thought she could win, but there were some doubts that she couldn't. Today, she knows she can get it done.
Yeah, I can't imagine with as good as this young lady is.
Message.
Can't imagine with as good as this young lady is that there are any doubts in her mind that she can win any tournament she enters, quite frankly.
Well, when you get a messenger early, to me, that would just help my swing get loose.
Absolutely.
Just a little bit.
Especially coming off that near missed spare, but, make spare. Yeah, I agree.
There it is. It rolls over and connects.
Yeah, that's a good break. That would loosen me up just a bit.
And key. Bang.
Yeah, there's a lot of power in that shot. Once again, about 10, 11 at the arrows, out to about 8. Nothing fancy, just everything kind of right in front of her. She's a little bit more hand than Caitlin, so she's able to open up the lane just a pinch. And she's a little bit further left than Caitlin as well. But 2 phenomenal opening shots for Chloe. And she can put together an early turkey here and put a little early pressure on Caitlin.
Favorite sport other than bowling? Hockey. Big fan of the Pittsburgh Penguins. Looking for 3 in a row.
That one looked just a pinch left down lane, just a pinch. And it didn't quite get off the end of the pattern. Still a very good quality shot by Chloe. Just didn't look like, and I mean a pinch, like maybe a board. But sometimes that's all it takes to change the entry angle into the pocket and maybe not kick out the corners.
This next door is CJ Petrin, who's been very good all week. Finds himself in a situation where so he can be named the U.S. Amateur Champions. And as a first-team All-American last year as well.
Is it Petrin or Petrin? Because Zach and I have been saying Petrin all week, and you and Tom have been saying Petrin all week.
It is Petrin.
Okay. I hear Zach announce Petrin, so that's where my head goes.
CJ, in my experience, he doesn't often correct. And so in my experience with him, I always go make sure I ask. So that's how I know. Then, of course, somebody will tell me, no, it's not. Well, he's got 4 in a row over there.
There's a lot of power going down that lane, too.
And Salinas has yet to strike. Meanwhile, Limke starts double 9 spare here.
With a strike here, Caitlin could take a 1-pin lead. That was right. That ball was a pinch right. You could see it up lane and down lane. It was not going left to right, so it still made it back to the pocket, but only made it half pocket. It was just a little right at the laydown.
A lot of comments regarding Caitlin's game, and the word smooth has been often used so far from some of our viewers.
Yeah, that's a good way to describe her game. It's compact, it's smooth, and it's very, very solid. No problem there on the cover.
We'll take the other spin. Now, you said this one was right. Here it is.
Yeah, just looked a pinch right at laydown. I think she's trying to play 5, and it looked like it maybe got to 3-4. You know, she's got some surface in her hand, so that's good. So the ball did make it back to the pocket. She just has to be a pinch more accurate than Chloe does. She doesn't quite have as much hand in the ball as Chloe, and she is a little further right, and there is a little bit of oil out there. So, you know, Caitlin's got to be on top of her game. And I mean, again, quality shot, could have struck. It was just a pinch right.
She trails by 9.
Now that one was on target, and it just labored. But it was on target. You could see it was laid down a little bit further left. I think it was laid down about 6-7, and it got to about 4-5, so it was more on target than the last one. Just didn't quite make it up the hill.
I'll ask you the kind of the similar question that I asked you earlier in the Abagania-Brandolino match. This one's starting slightly different just because Chloe came out early with a double. How long do you think Caitlin may have before she might have to do something that might put her in a risk-reward scenario? But it does look like it's just about, you know, being able to just keep it online and where she wants it to go at the moment.
So I think this match is different, and here's why. Chloe, like you said, doubled, but she's been in the pocket all 3 shots. So I think Caitlin needs to make that move now. I think regardless of whether Chloe doubles here or goes spare strike, strike spare, if she's in the pocket 2 more times, regardless of result, I think Caitlin needs to make that move now. I don't think she can afford to be out of the pocket another shot. So a little bit different. She didn't need to make that move. G had missed a couple times on that right lane, but Chloe's kind of dialed in. It's just a matter of whether she carries.
Got to read it and carries.
Yep, like on cue. So I maintain that Caitlin's going to need to make a move and make it now here in the 5th frame, especially since she has not struck on this right lane yet.
Chloe throwing the emotive evoke. Boy, and CJ over there getting pins to fall.
Yeah, tripping everything.
Real quickly in the men's division, Ryan Barnes, CJ Petrin, Julian Salinas, and Connor Fleming. The top 4 in the men's overall standings, and got some automatic spots.
And that was
Lemke. Oh, it held.
Man, oh man. We've seen a few of those
Vicious.
this week. That was pretty vicious indeed. It was definitely left down lane, but it looks like she had a pinch more at the bottom on that one, and it kind of held its line and found its way high flush. Just an awful break, quite frankly.
Let's take a look at that awful break, as Brian Mano described.
Tom would not want to see this again, but I certainly do.
That pin right in front of the 7.
Yeah, that was a nasty break. Not a good nasty, folks. No problem on the cover, though. Always with a smile on her way back and a little bit of fist pump. But I maintain, since Chloe has pounded the pocket 5 times, Caitlin needs to make some sort of move / change here. She's got to find her way to the pocket.
Similar scenario in the men's match in regards to the spot that's available for the U.S. Amateur Champion. with CJ and Julian with an auto spot, it would go back into the ranking points where Bryce Oliver sits 5th, and he bowls supremely well today. That's got a hook. Oh, and it does.
Good shot. It looks like she dialed the speed down just a pinch on that one. Throwing a summit ascent. Thank you, Mr. Gaucho, for confirming that. And it looks like she just dialed the speed down just a pinch. And that the ball just read for her a little bit earlier, and that's what she needed there. I mean, it was right on target. Just looked, it was maybe a half mile an hour slower, and it kicked the 10 out for her. And a double here on this left lane could change this match.
6 into the 10 beautifully.
And I'm sorry, you were saying something about the auto spot.
In the men's match, I believe it's a similar situation here like we talked about with Caitlin. The difference is, of course, Bryce Oliver will see that spot. He is not involved in the championship or the U.S. Amateur. Bang!
Yeah.
Abagania.
Those were 2 super quality shots there by Caitlin. And again, it looks like the speed was down just a pinch on that one as well. Ball read just a foot or 2 earlier and absolutely pounded the pocket.
Let me tell you quickly. We might have time to get it in, and I will. When I asked Caitlin about the differences between now and 2 years ago when she was in this situation, she also said she had a lot more tools in the bag. Learn how to roll it, and guess what else she said? Learn how to slow it down, as opposed to using her speed to overcome things all the time. And now trouble for Lemke, 2-8-10.
I mean, that double by Caitlin puts pressure on Chloe, and Chloe made 5 tremendously good shots. But just a little pressure on Chloe all of a sudden now that Caitlin doubled. Chloe leaked one right, and with her speed, even with her hand, with her speed, that ball was not coming back. The men have turned into one heck of a match over there.
Yeah, after Salinas didn't strike at all through the first 3, he could be looking in something in the 260s. And the way it's going as Lemke grabs 2. Patron, of course, can max at 278. Julian can max at 265.
Yeah, and Patron got 2 very lucky breaks in both the 6th and 7th frame. So putting a little more pressure back now on Julian. Chloe needs to, if I were Chloe here, I'd be taking a re-rack, right? I would be calming myself down a little bit. I'd be taking a re-rack. This is, I don't want to say a must strike, but given what Caitlin just did in the last 2 frames, and given that we're in the back half of this game, this is kind of a must strike here for Chloe.
Lemke, there it is.
Yeah, beautiful shot. Beautiful shot. Kicked the 7 out on that one for her, thankfully for her. You know, the taking a re-rack, there's an art to that. It allows you to take a couple extra breaths, maybe slow your heart rate down a little bit. Some people don't like to do that. I personally do like to do that in a match play match, especially when I know I need to throw a good one. But Chloe threw a no doubter there. Caitlin can step up here and increase her lead. Think those guys want it over there?
Same situation here. Abagania.
Great
Oh, that's
shot.
reading. Oh, it's reading. Oh, it's reading. Oh, my goodness.
The 10 falls forward.
6-pin. Nice again. Boy, it was so much different than just some earlier weeks or days, this week, where corner pins were so stingy.
Yes, they were. But
It's the 6-pin that's being nice.
Yeah, and this was another phenomenal shot by Caitlin. Right on target, kept that speed slow, and she got a great break.
And just next door, folks, if you aren't watching the men's match, it's a good one. Patron's going to need the first hit in the 10th.
Strike 8 spare, I think,
Eight
shuts
spare.
him out, right?
Meanwhile, Abagania, 3 in a row. As Brian mentioned, looks like she had just notched it down on the ball speed. Oh, that's a beautiful shot. There it is again. Oh, and Abagania showing some emotion.
A little bit of fire out of Caitlin there. 4 absolutely phenomenal shots coming off of a couple of okay ones, but then 4 absolutely phenomenal shots. And the pressure is certainly on Chloe. Petrin throwing another one in case you can't hear the crowd behind us.
Abagania, watch the emotion. There it is right there.
It's the first bit of emotion we've seen out of Caitlin pretty much all week.
Lemke, gotta have it, gotta hook. Maybe a touch quick, 2-4. I'm sorry, 2-5-8, I beg your pardon.
Looked to touch right as well, based on what she's doing on 59. I know you guys can't see on our channel, but Petrin took a re-rack. Just to, again, what we were kind of saying with Chloe in the frame prior, just to kind of calm himself down a little bit. He knows he needs 9 here to solidify a win. Big spare here for Chloe. That's not going to get there.
She went straight at it, missed it right.
Yeah, that's going to all but do it, really, in this match. I mean, Chloe can max for 203. Caitlin's already in the 2 teens. So that all but does it here.
Petrin next door. Bang. CJ Petrin just threw all 10 back to win the U.S. Amateur Champion in the men's division. Well, he aced that thing.
Yes, he did.
Skorzinski. She aced that one too. But it's going to be Caitlin Abagania. She's going to finish the match first. She will get a chance to have that same kind of victory lap, if you will. That one came right down to the 10th frame. Petrin versus Salinas. Congrats to CJ.
Yeah, CJ Petrin, your men's amateur champion. And what a nod to Julian after those first 3 frames, just coming out and forcing CJ to continue to strike by throwing 6 in a row. Now we're going to see Caitlin step up here. I mean, the strike here locks it completely. A mark pretty much does the same thing.
Abagania headed to Vandy from San Diego. Oh, give it to her.
Yeah, Caitlin starting to cry a little bit, show some emotion. I think she knows it's over, and she certainly earned this victory this week.
Wasn't quite sure about it. It might have been just a touch right.
I think it was, but again, the softer speed allowed that ball to react and get back to the pocket. It was kind of half pocket-ish, but she's carried all game when she's been in the pocket, and that shot was no different.
Comes out of the 5th frame with a 5-bagger, and now we'll head into the 10th. Keep it on the lane. It's right, but it's okay.
Yep, that's enough.
It's a 2-8. Abagania already with a jersey with Commodore colors, and I believe what is an anchor on the back. And if you know anything about Vanderbilt, it is hashtag anchor down. And Abagania dropped the anchor here on 59 and 60. And she is your 2025 U.S. Amateur Champion in the women's division.
Yeah, what a great couple of matches she bowled here. Great bowling all week, obviously. She had to shoot the 2-8 3 times and made it all 3 times.
And each one was an experience.
Yeah,
yeah,
each one was made slightly differently, but as Emil just said, that one did not matter. Caitlin Abagania is your women's amateur champion. And just for good measure, Julian Salinas is going to throw the back 9. Throw the back 9 on for 265. What a tremendous match the men bowled, and we just saw tremendous bowling all week from all competitors in both divisions.
I like what Caitlin just did there. Even though she had this match locked up, she still took an opportunity to gain a little bit of information.
Yeah.
As she will then go and find family. If your dad is here, tons of friends here.
Yeah, she was learning until the very end right there, and that's a smart bowler. With a spare here and a strike, Chloe can finish at 183. Chloe bowled a phenomenal tournament as well. All the competitors this year just bowled an outstanding tournament. We are never shy of just pure competition in this tournament. And it's great to see.
Folks, don't go anywhere. Stay by your computers. Probably in about 15 minutes or so, 15 to 20 minutes. The Team USA trials presentations and announcements will take place. Who will be selected? A lot of question marks on who's going to be selected tonight, folks. 236-171. Kayla Nabaganya defeats Chloe Lemke. She is your champion.